Hi everyone. In years gone by, our timelines were littered with countless FPL drafts that had five-man defenses throughout preseason. And what's interesting, especially this season and last season, especially during the summer, that all seems to have come to an end with the radical overhaul of pricing in FPL. And of course, the reality is that five-man defenses are not sustainable and you're not going to win FPL with a five-man defense. But the fact is that they do act as a really good reference point for those that who went on to go for a 4-4-2 formation or other iterations where the defense was emphasized. So in this video, I'm going to construct a five-man defense. Spoiler alert, the reality is a lot of FPL managers have gone very heavy on a 4-5-1 or a 4-4-2. So it's essentially a variation of that. But just for the sake of not nostalgia, but for the sake of having that reference point of a five-man defense, I'm going to demonstrate what can be done. And I want to just reiterate again that no legendary manager, to my knowledge, is going to start with a five-man defense. It's simply pointless when there are so many good options in midfield. So I've got no doubt a lot will go heavy on defense with four defenders, and a lot will go heavy on midfield. But a 5-3-2 can just get ruled out the window altogether because often you'd see like a 5-3-2 or a very bizarre 5-2-3 in seasons gone by. But I think if you were really keen on heavily investing in defenders, 5-4-1 would probably be the way forward, and it's not a million miles off your own draft. So, as unorthodox as it may seem, as obsolete as it may be, just watch out and be surprised with how similar it will be to your own current draft right now. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, this is a mock draft. I'm not going to obviously hit the save button because I'm not going to actually make changes to my own draft. So obviously with a five-man defense, I'm going to go full on heavy with the goalkeeper and with all of my five defenders. I need them to be playing defenders. So in this instance, I've got Gabriel and I am going to restore Gabriel. I've got Stupinan, going to restore him as well. I've got Trent, going to restore him as well. John Stones, going to restore him as well. So look at that. I mean, as strange as a five-man defense may seem, already my first four players that I've restored are already in my team as it stands. In terms of the goalkeeper, now here's where it gets interesting because I have a fifth defender right now that is a 4.0. So I am going to recruit another defender. So I'll go to defenders. I'll sort this by percentage. And the one that catches my eye actually is Luke Shaw. But then it begs the question that I will have to then double up with someone else. I mean, just I'm not going to get a Newcastle defender. I'd want someone in this scenario to have at least 3 to 4 good opening game weeks. I mean, the team that really interests me the most, if I was going to double up, I know City didn't have a fantastic defensive record last season, but as we can see here, you look at those first like 8 fixtures, especially, it's a flurry of green boxes with the exception of game week 2 and game week 8. So I could potentially double up with Man City defense here. So Luke Shaw, I'd want him. If I'm going to go heavy on defense, Luke Shaw makes perfect sense. Just looking at James, could get him as well, but would I? Don't know what his injury status is right now. Could even double up on Arsenal actually. So yeah, let's do this. Let's double up on uh, Arsenal. Yeah, I mean, Man City, hypothetically, like I've said, a five-man defense is not sustainable. But in the case of Arsenal, like if you'd want a wild card by game week 4, if this was the case. So yeah, do I want double Arsenal defense? You could say you could tweak it so that by game week 4, you would not start like double Arsenal defense against Manchester United. So Onana, I'm not really keen on doubling up on United. I think Man City would be an option if it was like a long haul draft, but like I've said, it's not sustainable in the case of a five-man defence. So looking at Man United here, got Spurs and Arsenal. Not going to double up with them. So yeah, we'll go with Arsenal. So goalkeepers. Just having a look. Are there any other keepers that catch my eye? Of course, I want to restore Areola as my 4.0 goalkeeper. So in he comes. And the other options really got Pickford, Edison. I think it's a 50-50 between Edison and Ramsdale, but it's just that Newcastle fixture. I think Arsenal's opening three fixtures are far more amenable than Man City's from a defensive viewpoint. So in comes Ramsdale. So there is my five-man defense, and I've got 62 million in the bank. Of course, I'm going to have Mr. Inevitable Erling Haaland, so I will restore him. And really, what I'm left with in this scenario is I'm not going to go 5-2-3, not sustainable, even though it's possible. 5-3-2, no way, when we've got so many fantastic midfield options. I'm going to go 5-4-1. And 5-4-1, as is going to be shown, is the only way forward, really. So I need a 4.5 striker. Need two, in fact. In comes Surridge again. Can't have Jesus in this formation. It could in a 5-3-2, but it makes absolute no sense whatsoever when I've got some awesome midfielders. So my other striker will be Archer. In he comes as well in this 5-4-1 formation. So I've got 5 players still to pick. And with these 5 players, I've got 39 million in the bank. So in this instance, I've got one essentially. I need like a playing sub. So in comes Nakamba, restore him. So look at this already in this 5-man defense. I've restored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players already, and I will be restoring at least 1 or 2 more. So I've got 34.5 million in the bank with 4 players to pick. Good run of opening games for Mitoma. He's a no-nonsense pick. So from this point onwards, I need players who are going to play who I can count upon for the opening 3 or 4 games. 28 million. So what? That's just over 9 million per player to pick. I can get Saka. In he comes. I can get Rashford. In he comes. That leaves me with what? 10.5 million for another midfield spot. So didn't realise. I wasn't expecting that much. So I might even upgrade Mitoma here. That's interesting. So midfielders, I'll just sort it by just so I can get some template picks here. So just short of Mohamed Salah. I could downsize one of those defenders and even squeeze Mohamed Salah in. Should I or shouldn't I? Let's not. So Odegaard. I think I might even triple up on Arsenal actually. So Gabriel. I've already got triple Arsenal. Gabriel, Saka, Ramsdale. So that is already done. They're locked in. Bruno Fernandes would be the simple pick here. That'd be just crazy. In fact, you know what? I have to get rid of Mitoma. I'll restore Bruno Fernandes. I've got 8.5 million to spend. So can't get Odegaard, unfortunately. I could get Foden. Let's just fit the piece here. I think the only other midfielder that catches my eye, De Bruyne is not fit. If De Bruyne was fit and starting, he would be a potential option here. So Maddison, nope. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get Foden in. So we've got triple Man City. So check that out. Got 1 million in the bank. I've got Gabriel, Estupinan, Trent, Stones, and Shaw. Let's zoom in. Let's go full on zoom here with this 5-4-1 5-man defense team reveal. So here we go. The back line reads for itself. And you can just look at your own defenders right now in your current draft. I would say that the majority of that back line is probably already in your team right now. So that's Gabriel, Estupinan, Trent, Stones, and Shaw as my defenders, Ramsdale and Areola as my goalkeepers. And I just want to reiterate here, I did some jiggery pokery to get Onana in before he was added into the game. This is literally as it is. This is a live video. So that is $1 million in the bank with that defense. So that's a very strong defense. You'd expect them all to start, and you'd expect them to get a healthy number of points in those first 3 to 4 game weeks. And there is an algorithm that I will be using in the weeks ahead as well. I'm not going to use it in this video, but just watch out for it. And I've even put these players through the algorithm, and it seems like they are expected to get a healthy number of returns. So I'm fairly happy with them in this hypothetical 5-man defense. I want to repeat this. This is a mock draft just to demonstrate what is possible with 5 starting defenders, and they're all the premium picks essentially. In fact, let me just sort by, I'll do it afterwards. If I sort by price, it's probably what Liverpool, an odd Liverpool defender. Really, there's not many other options. You wouldn't want more than one Liverpool defender here unless I had a good run of opening games. And then coming on to that front line in this 5-4-1 formation, you're starting Rashford, you're starting Fernandes, you're starting Saka, and you're starting Foden as well. And if I wanted to, I could get like Onana as my goalkeeper and then switch Foden to Odegaard. In fact, I'll probably do that as well, just as another demonstration. So lastly, the striker is Haaland. And in, I believe, 2 of my previous 7 or 8 drafts, I actually did go 4-5-1. And in that instance, I obviously had a 4.0 defender and then a fairly robust midfield. So in this iteration, this 4-5-1, I've got $1 million in the bank, but I want to just demonstrate one other option that's available in this 4-5-1 formation, where it's Onana in goal, restore him. In fact, before I restore him, just a quick head count. So Ramsdale wasn't my goalkeeper. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So look at that. 11 of those players are already in my team. So another iteration is Onana's the goalkeeper. And then I get rid of Luke Shaw. Foden, I switch out. And I bring in Odegaard as my other Arsenal asset. Have to get rid of Luke Shaw now. So I now can do a triple up on Man City defenders. Let's have a quick look at who's available. So, I mean, Pep Roulette, you just wouldn't risk it ultimately. But let's just see who we can get. See Cancelo still in the game. I mean, Ruben Diaz, no idea if he's going to start this season or not, but let's just put him in for argument's sake. And I'll do a super zoom in. So just so that you can see it. This is the other 5-4-1 iteration that's available in this 5-man defense. And in this case, you're maxing out your entire budget, as you can see there. So in this instance, you've got Onana as your starting keeper, Diaz, Stones, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Estupinan and Gabriel. And then the front line, well, the attack of Saka, Odegaard, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, and Haaland as your striker. And of course, in this draft, as with the other one, Nakamba would be the only playing sub 1, maybe the odd cameo point for Archer if you're lucky. And the difference here is, I just do a head count on how many I've got. So I had 11 existing players from the previous 5-man defense. Here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ah, interesting. And yeah, it's all maxed out. So it's all within limit there as well. But I just want to reiterate once again, a 5-man defense is not sustainable at the start of the season. It's not sustainable really at any point in the season, perhaps during a double game week when you've got strong teams with a generous run of games in that double game week, really. But I wanted to do this because five-man defenses used to be a thing in FPL until they radically overhauled the pricing this season as well as last season. The reality is you simply don't need a five-man defense when you can have a solid five-man midfield, which a lot of us do have. And I think looking at the drafts that I've seen on Twitter and also my own drafts, I think the two popular formations among the legendary managers and the just engaged managers in general in FPL at the start especially will be 3-5-2, or it will be 4-4-2 and possibly 4-5-1 as well. But there you have it. That's my iteration of how far you can, well, not how far you can go, but what you can get with a five-man defense in Fantasy Premier League for the start of this season. It'll be interesting to see if any of you would be interested or tempted to do it. I doubt anyone will, but it just goes to show what can be done and the overlap with your current draft as well. As always, let me know in the comments below what you think. If you can like, share, and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Take care and all the best. Thank you. Bye.